welcome back to the Yogi. I'm Julia, your yoga instructor for arthritis. I've got my cup of coffee this morning because I am exhausted. And it's the morning and a great morning practice that we have for you today. Today's video, I will be guiding you through a chair yoga sequence for dancer's pose. Okay, I couldn't help it. You're always welcome to join me in dancing it out and shaking it out. But here's what you'll need for today's practice. You'll need a yoga mat, a sturdy chair without any arms, a free wall for stability, a yoga bolster, and if you don't have a yoga bolster, that's perfect. You can just use what you have at home. I like the substitution of 2 blocks and a folded blanket. And lastly, you'll need a yoga strap, and if you don't have a yoga strap, that's perfect too. You can use a belt that you might have at home or a medium-sized towel, and we'll get started. For today's class, we'll begin seated comfortably on our chair. Find the edge of your seat and ground your 2 sit bones. And when you feel ready, close your eyes. And take a deep breath in through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. Breathe in. And exhale through the mouth one more time. Letting go of tension or anything in our mind that we might be focused on today that might be causing us some stress or some angst. Just let it go. Right now we're focusing on our yoga practice together. And take a deep breath in, and this time exhale through the nostrils, sealing our mouth. And now continue to observe your breath as it flows in and out of the nostrils just for a few moments. Nacharasana, dancer's pose, comes from the Sanskrit word nata, meaning dancer, and raja, meaning king, and asana, meaning posture. So nata, dancer, raja, king, and asana, posture. So let's embody Shiva as we center in for this opening meditation and destroy any impurities in the mind today, such as negative self-talk, any toxic behaviors, remove self-doubt, the I can'ts from our vocabulary, and let stress melt away as we flow into this yoga practice. So let's take a moment to set our sankalpa, our intention. If you haven't already taken my full-length meditation for setting your sankalpa, I'll link it in the description below. So if you're interested, you can take a look and watch that video. You can even pause here if you want to do a longer meditation before we go into the physical postures. Now that you've set your sankalpa, breathe in deeply into the nostrils, into the belly, the diaphragm, and right into the heart center. You can place your fingertips to the heart center. And feel the breath moving all the way into the heart. And exhale to let it flow back out into the universe. Planting the seeds of our intentions together. You can float open your eyes, wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. And bring some movement to the extremities of the body. And we'll take some circles with our wrists, one side and the other. Really moving slowly this morning, whether you're taking this practice in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening. You really want to take your time with your joints, send them some loving kindness, and let's take one foot at a time, and slowly, you can keep your heel on the floor if that's more comfortable. You don't have to lift your leg. Just make some circles with your right ankle to one side and then the other, and noticing its movement, maybe a difference from moving to one side and the other. Maybe we have different mobilities from one side to the other, and just noticing without any judgment, simply bringing awareness. We'll take the other side, moving the left ankle to one side and then the other. Doing what feels right for you today. Knowing when to back off, knowing when you want to add a little bit more energy. Just listen to your body and what feels good to you today. Send your hands to the top of your knees. We'll take cat and cow seated on our chair. Breathe in, lift the heart. And exhale to round the spine from the lower back, middle back, upper back, and the last thing to drop is the head. Feeling a nice rounding and hollowing. Inhale to press into the feet, lift the heart, and lift the chin slightly to gaze where the wall and the ceiling meet. And as you exhale, round vertebrae by vertebrae. Releasing all the air from the belly. And take 2 more rounds on your own. Flowing with the breath. Noticing the lengthening of our breath. And the lengthening of our exhales as we round. And come back to center. Make sure that your feet are shoulder width apart, nice and grounded. And we're going to take some circles with the torso, just the upper body, the feet, the legs are not moving. Let's go to one side really mindfully. You can decide if you want to add shoulders into it, keeping the hands with a light touch to the legs, and bending the elbows. And then we'll switch sides. Inhale to the other side. Maybe you want to put a little smile on your face as we get ready for our dancer's pose. Bringing some awareness to the body, creating some warmth in the spine. We'll take a gentle chest stretch. Bring your hands to either side of your chair behind you and scoot forward. And breathe in to lift the heart. Squeeze the shoulder blades gently together. Your hands are resting on either side of your seat. Lift the chin slightly and breathe in. Do a little Cobra stretch. And exhale to release. And we're going to do another chest stretch. We'll send our shoulder across the body first. Breathe in. And then exhale to send your arm behind you on the wall. And we'll switch sides. Breathe in. Take the arm across the body. Calvin's here, but you can't see it. And then I'll send my hand to the back of the wall. And we'll take a little circle. Back to center. That was a good shoulder mobility, chest opener. Next, we'll come into a few sun salutations. Be mindful of how you feel today as we move into sun salutations. This should give us some energy if we're feeling low. So inhale and exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale to reach the arms overhead if that's available to you. You don't have to come all the way up if that doesn't feel good. You can always take cactus arms, or you can keep your hands to your heart center if you have any impingements or pain in the shoulders as you reach arms up. And then as you exhale from wherever you are, send your forearms to your thighs and come into a half fold, releasing the forehead towards the hands. And breathe into your half fold. Notice the length in your spine. Notice the length in your neck. And then press through your forearms to come back up. Reach up with a long spine. And exhale the right knee into the chest, sending your arms around it, interlacing the fingers if that's available. Breathe in and breathe out. We'll take the other side. If it's not available to grab underneath, simply lift the knee up gently. It doesn't have to be that far off the floor. Or you can send the knee into the chest, whichever is most available to you. And then exhale to release the left leg. That's a modified lunge. We'll move into Cobra. Send your hands to either side of the chair. Breathe in and lift the heart. And lift the head and breathe in this back bend. And exhale to release and come to center. Inhale for downward facing dog. Keeping a nice length of the spine. Reach the arms up. So it should look like this from the side. You're lengthening through the spine, taking the same shape as you would. You can even use the wall if that feels good to you. Take your hands to a wall, release the head. And breathe in, engage the core, and come back to center. I like exploring with what I have around the house. You can even take a downward facing dog standing with your chair if that feels good to you. Placing your hands to the top of the seat or taking your hands to the bottom of the seat and coming into a downward facing dog standing. That's perfectly fine too. Next we'll move into upward arms. Reach the arms up, take a full body stretch. And then exhale to lower back down, hands to heart center. Breathe in. And breathe out, exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. And exhale to fold. Take a halfway fold. Notice how it feels. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, you can round all the way into a forward fold. If this feels good to you, this is a nice massage for the internal organs, great for digestion. You can shake the head yes and no mindfully. We'll stay here for 3 more breaths, maybe release through the mouth if that feels good. Through the nose. Feel a release in the lower back and in the belly. You can take your hands to your thighs. Inhale to lift the heart and come all the way back up to center. Instead of rolling up from ragdoll, vertebrae by vertebrae, we want to keep a long spine as we come back up to protect any pain. If you have spinal arthritis, if you have herniated disc, it's really important to keep nice length in the spine throughout our yoga practice, especially when we're coming back from forward folds, to really think about lifting through the chest, engaging the core to come back up to center. And now that we're back up to center, send the right knee into the chest for modified lunge. Remember, you have the option of not using your hands, or taking your hands underneath the thighs, squeeze the knee into the chest, and exhale to lower. Breathe in, send the left knee into the chest, then exhale to lower. Send your hands to either side of your chair, scoot forward, lift the heart, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then gently lift the chin, coming into Cobra. fill the lungs with fresh air and exhale to release any impurities. Inhale to come back to center, taking downward facing dog. Remember, you can use a wall, you can stand if you want to. We're going to inhale, lean forward with a long spine, arms above the head. Again, you don't have to reach your arms all the way up. You can always take cactus arms. You can always keep your hands to heart center. And breathe for a moment in your downward facing dog. I'm going to show a downward facing dog standing if some of you want to try it. Feels nice too if you want to stand up for a minute. You can inhale to plant your hands to the middle of your chair. And then exhale to start to walk back. Keep the knees as bent as you need to. And we're coming into the same shape as you would do on your mat if you were placing the feet and the hands to the mat. You breathe in, you can start to stretch one leg at a time if that feels good. Or straighten both of your legs. And breathe in, you can even grab the edges of your seat if that's more comfortable and lengthen through the spine. And when you're ready to come back up, gaze forward, bend your knees, start to walk towards your hands, and again, to come back up, place your hands to your thighs or to your hips and lengthen, lift the heart to come back up to standing. We'll come back down to our chairs. I think it's nice to give the option to stand up during a yoga class if some of us have been sitting for too long and it doesn't feel good. But I also think it's important to give seated variations first because they're more accessible. And sometimes it's discouraging when a yoga teacher teaches an entire class standing. I know I've been there because some days I can't get up from the chair. So it's nice to offer both variations. We're sending our left leg back and sending our thigh on top of our chair, making sure we're holding onto the back of the seat. And we're coming into Warrior One, breathing in, sending our arm overhead, sending our left arm overhead, reaching, making this an active pose. Breathe in. Maybe your heel is on the wall. Maybe you don't have a wall behind you. We're only going to stay here for a moment. We're going to make this an active pose. Breathe in. Send your arm up. And then exhale to send it down. Breathe in. Activate the fingers and exhale to release. We're going to send our pivot the back foot. So our back foot is grounding into the edges of our mat, and our right knee is out on a diagonal in line with our middle toe. Breathe in to reach the arms to parallel from the floor, and we're coming into Warrior Two. A nice hip opener again. Breathe in and exhale. And take a moment, and we're going to make this a bit dynamic as well. Breathe in and then exhale. Send your hands to heart center, and we're going to switch sides. So bend the left knee, send the right toes out in front of you, ground into the foot, and breathe in to send the arms up. Gaze over the middle finger, Warrior Two, and then exhale, send your hands to heart, and take your legs in Yogic Squat. Breathe in, and breathe out. And as you exhale, send your arms to the insides of your thighs. We're going to press them out, and breathe, and drop the head if that feels right. Keeping your head in line with the spine, getting a nice opening in the groin. We're pressing our forearms to the inside of our thighs, releasing the head, if that feels good. We're gazing down towards the floor in front of you. Slowly inhale, lift the heart, and heel toe the feet back to center. Coming back to shoulder width apart. And take a moment to breathe. send it over the left. And if this isn't available and it's a bit too high at this moment, send a block in front of you at its highest height. You can also use another chair, place in front of you to set your foot down in front of your left leg and allow the right knee to open up, opening up our right hip, coming into pigeon pose. Breathe in and breathe out. You can keep a hand to the outside of your right knee for support if that feels better. And just notice the stretch. You can also take pigeon pose standing. I'll show you the variation. So if you're moving into the other side, seated, bring your knee back to center, and set your block on the opposite side. Breathe in and exhale to send that leg over or over your thigh, flexing the toes towards you. And we'll breathe in this hip opener. Nice stretch from the glute. And if you're taking this standing, take your time to come up. We're using the chair for support. Since this is a chair yoga sequence, you can use a wall as well. You can use a chair today, so send your fingertips to the top of the chair. Set your foot over your thigh if that's available. Flex the toes towards you, and very mindfully bend the knee and sit back, bringing the weight towards your heel. And I'm breathing in. I can even relax my forearms if that feels good, and keep my head in line with the spine. And breathe in and out. I like to give a lot of breaks to the hands and the wrists because I know firsthand that there's a lot of pain in the hands and too much pressure sometimes when we're doing physical activities or yoga class. You can shake out the legs. And then we'll move to the opposite side. Just try, explore if this feels right to you. If you want to sit on your chair, you can take a second round of pigeon pose seated, or you can come up and try the standing version. Flex your toes towards you to protect the knee joint. Breathe in and breathe out. Notice if there's a difference from one side to the other. Simply notice without any judgment. You can take any variation that is most stable for you. So you can keep your hands to the top of the chair or bring your forearms to the top of the chair. Keeping your head in line with the spine. Notice the feet. They should be facing forward towards your chair. Sending the hips back. And when you're ready, release the feet. And you can say hi to Calvin. Stretch out the legs. Now that we're standing, I'm going to take a moment to show you how to do a quad stretch standing with your strap. So unravel your yoga strap. You can keep it unraveled if you'd like and just use both ends with one hand, or you can also loop your strap if that feels good to you. When you loop a strap, you have your buckle. You take it through the smaller one, and then over the next belt loop, and then put it through, and it locks it like this. So you have the option of a loop that you can either hold on with your hand, or you can actually use your forearm instead of your hand if they're bothering you. It's up to you and what feels good to you. You can explore what feels best. And we're taking our chair in front of us, grounding into our feet. And now we're going to bring our weight to the right foot first. So send your yoga strap to the left arm or the left hand and loop your foot through the strap. You can walk your hands up if that feels good to you. And keeping a hand here for support on your chair. Squeeze the inner thighs together, point the knees downward, and get a nice quad stretch in the front of the thigh. And breathe in and out. You can hold it here for a few mindful breaths. Softening the shoulders, and we're making sure that we really ground into that right foot and breathe. Keeping a gentle bend in that standing leg. And when you're ready, we're not going to let go of the strap. We're going to slowly, slowly, slowly release the foot down, release the strap from the foot. You can shake out the legs. We'll do the other side. Send your strap to the right hand. Place the fingertips on your chair, grounding into the left foot. You can gently send your right foot off of the floor. Loop the strap around your right foot. And very, very mindfully, we're going to bend the knee and send our heel towards the buttocks. It doesn't have to touch. If you want to bring your hands closer, you can walk your hands down the strap. Breathe in and out. Holding onto the strap if that's available to you. Grounding into the left leg, keeping a micro bend in that knee. Squeeze the inner thighs together, nice quad stretch. Full breath. When you're ready, send your foot back down, shake out the legs. You should feel a bit of a burning sensation from the muscles that are working, but no sharp pain. Next, we'll come into the variation on our chair. So now that we're back at our seat, you can take your bolster or your 2 yoga blocks. It's up to you. I'm going to show you how to set up. I'm going to keep my strap handy because I might need it for this stretch. I'll start with the bolster. We're going to set ourselves up to the right side of our chair. Send your left leg behind you and place the bolster underneath your knee. So you might need to adjust and slide it underneath the knee. And now we're coming into a little bit of a hip flexor stretch already. Make sure your thigh is on the chair and you're not uncomfortable. You're placing your right arm to the back of the chair for support and stability. And here we have the option to either stay where we are and breathe, focusing on more of a hip flexor stretch, or you can send your loop behind you, your strap behind you, to grab onto the ankle or the foot. Let's grab the ankle today, and we'll slowly pull to get a nice quad stretch, but we're not putting any pressure on the knee joint here. We're breathing into the stretch. You can feel if you can go a bit further without any pain. You can walk your hand down the strap and breathe. And we'll hold this for a few seconds. Notice that we're also opening the shoulder here by holding the yoga strap behind us. So focus on lifting the heart, getting a nice stretch as far as we can without any pain, and slowly, no slingshots, slowly, slowly, slowly release the strap. Take your time, allowing the leg to come all the way back down to the bolster, and then we'll slide our strap away, and very mindfully with your hand onto the back of the seat and the back of the chair, swoop the leg forward, come back to a seated position, and we'll just take a little mindful twist, breathing in and exhale. Send your hands to the back wall gently, just a gentle twist to release the spine. Inhale fully, and exhale your gentle twist, and inhale to come back to center. You can take your strap with you, and we'll move all the way to the left side. keeping our bolster as well. Again, if you don't have a bolster at home, what you can do is stack 2 blocks and a blanket. So I'll go ahead and remove my bolster because I'm going to show you on the other side what it's like to use different types of props. If you don't have blocks, you can stack a bunch of pillows from your couch, like throw pillows that you might have. So you can even fold up the blanket as much as you need it, placing it over your blocks like it's a bolster. And once you come to the left side, you're stepping the right leg back and you find where you need to find your support. And you might need to adjust the position by sending the blocks back a bit. Okay. Now that I have some support underneath my knee, I'm good to go. Maybe you need to remove a block. That's possible. It's fun to explore, try new things, try new props. So for me, 1 block is enough. Get used to this posture for a moment. Relax. Take your strap and loop it around the back foot. This is the side that we haven't done yet. Again, you can use the foot or the ankle. I'm going to do the ankle. And make sure that you're lengthening your spine as you come into this quad stretch. Again, you have the option to walk your hands closer towards your ankle and gaze forward, using the back of your seat for support. And breathe in and out, lifting the chest and relaxing the shoulders. You want to feel a nice stretch in the front of your right thigh. Right here. Good. This might feel a little bit funny, but it's nice to not put pressure on the knee. We had some nice cushioning. We're not putting all of our weight on our knee. So this is an accessible way for you to be getting a quad stretch while sitting down. And breathe in and out. And when you're ready, remember not to let it go. Just really slowly allow the leg to come all the way back down. That is tough. So good job. Release the strap. Slide the back leg to meet the opposite, and we're going to come into a little twist. I have a lot of props going on here, so I'm just going to remove my props back down to the floor, sitting nice and tall, grounding your sit bones. Breathe in and exhale to take a twist to the back wall, twisting to the left this time. Mindful breath in through the nostrils. Lengthen through the spine, exhale, gentle twist to the left. Breathe in, come back to center. And now that we're back to center, we are ready for our dancer's pose, Nacharasana. Calvin likes the yoga strap, but he has his own, so it's not for you, sweetie pie. Breathing in and out, and we're preparing for dancer's pose, Natarajasana. We're going to take a few mindful breaths to bring energy back into our body to prepare. Maybe pet your dog or your cat if they're nearby you. Staying in the present moment, even if they want to destroy your yoga props. Inhale. Soften your jaw, soften your shoulders, your belly, your hips, your glutes, your knees. And allow this pose to be an expression of your true essence. And don't worry about what it looks like to the outside world. You want to feel confident, you want to feel good in your body as we come into dancer's pose. There are a few options that I'll show you today, and you take whichever option speaks to you. So we'll begin with a seated version of dancer's pose to a standing version with our chair. So let's float open the eyes, maybe shake out the fingers, the wrists, if that feels good. Next, I'll ask you to use the props that you have at home, and we'll need either a bolster or the yoga block setup with the blanket on top of it. We'll move to the right side like we did in our quad stretch. I'm not going to use a strap today. I'm just going to let myself be free with this dancer's pose and slowly send your left foot behind you and make sure that you have support underneath the knee. Again, allow your thigh to come to the chair and your foot is underneath your knee. Your arm is to the back of your chair. You might have a wall behind you, you might not. Breathe in and inhale to lift the toes, engage the leg, engage the back of the glute, and breathe in to reach the arm up, coming into dancer's pose. This is a mild back bend. We're also engaging through the hip, through the leg. Inhale through the core, you can feel it. And take a few mindful breaths in dancer's pose. Soften the arm, soften your gaze, and strike a pose. When you're ready, inhale and exhale to come back down. You can slide your leg forward if that feels good to you, and we'll take it back to center just for a moment. Grounding the two sit bones and grounding the feet. Breathe in, deep breath. And exhale completely. Next, we'll turn all the way to the left side. And make sure that your arm is supported by the back of the chair. We're going to send our right leg back. Send your prop in line with your knee. Oops, took it too far. Make sure that your thigh is on the chair. And you're going to breathe in. Lengthen through the spine. And we'll find dancer's pose as we lift the foot as much as we can to activate the back of our leg, our glute. Our hip is engaged, our core is engaged. And now we'll reach our arm up, dancer's pose, activating this pose. Take a few mindful breaths, soften the shoulder, soften the arm. Inhale, keep reaching through the toes. You should feel a nice stretch in the hip flexors. You can take a bit of a back bend if that feels good, but be mindful to not compress the lower back. Reaching up, gazing up towards the sky, and exhale to lower back down. So after taking variation 1, take a moment to slide your right leg back to meet your left, to come back to center, and for a moment, allow yourself to take a fold, or allow yourself to take a gentle twist, something to release the spine while I go ahead and demonstrate the next variation. We're coming into the next variation of dancer's pose, Nacharasana. You'll need a chair, and standing at the top of your mat with your chair in front of you, breathe in to ground into all 4 corners of your feet. Beginning this pose in mountain. And when you're ready, send your weight to the right foot, grounding into the 4 corners of the right foot. You can gently lift your left knee, not that much, just a little bit off the floor. Grounding into the right foot, really engaging the quad. Keeping a micro bend in the right knee. We're going to inhale and keep your hands to your chair, light touch to the chair. And as you exhale, keeping the weight over your standing leg, you're going to reach your left leg back, gazing forward. You can even lean forward just a little bit. Okay, whatever feels good to you in this moment. We're coming into dancer's pose on the chair. So you want to make sure that you have a nice comfortable place to lean into. Remember, you can explore this. This is dancer's pose. You can come into the pose. You can even lift the leg. We want to notice what it feels like to turn our hips downward and reach the leg up, activating the back of our glute and thigh. Breathe in. Maybe it feels good to reach one hand up. Maybe you want to keep both of your hands to the chair, lean forward, ground, breathe in. And then gently release back down, shake out your legs. You can reach your arms up if that feels good. And we'll just come back to mountain for a moment before taking the other side. Notice how it feels to come into your full expression. Notice how it feels in the body strengthening, the legs, our balance being improved, our core strength, stretching of the shoulders in this pose. It opens our hip flexors and counteracts our development of tight hip flexors, which are from sitting too much. So as we move into the left side, notice the energy you're bringing into the left foot. This pose represents the cosmic energy of Shiva. When you practice, you're dancing in the flow of the universe. Let's notice as we ground into the four corners of the left leg. Make sure a micro bend stays in the left knee. Engage through the muscles of that leg. Breathe in and gently press your right leg back. And notice what it feels like to explore in dancer's pose. So if you want to lift the leg and stretch the leg back, pointing the toes towards the right wall, and then come back to center, point the toes down, and notice how the hips are now level to the earth. And gently point the toe up, breathe in, and we'll take opposite arms if that feels good. Reach up and notice what that feels like. You can also lean forward, engage the core and the belly if that feels good, or stay nice and straight. Breathe in. Notice the burning sensations of the muscles working, bringing energy into the body as we take our full expression of what feels good to us. Maybe both of our hands are to our chair. Inhale, reach up, and then exhale to lower down. You should feel the glutes, the legs, the body working for you. That feels good. Also take this pose with a strap around your foot, or you can grab onto the bottom of your pant leg or your legging, whatever you're wearing today. Breathe in and breathe out to take your expression. It really depends on how you feel today. If you want to use the chair, if you don't want to use the chair, you can just work a little bit more on balance as you lift up and take dancer's pose. So I use whatever feels good to me. I don't have a lot of flexibility in my quad because of the constrictions in my knees. So sometimes I just use my pant leg instead of a strap. And I explore the pose, breathing through the heart center as I come back and gently release. So if that feels good, you can explore what that feels like. You have a wall next to you, you have your chair, so you can always hold on. We go through the same motions. We ground into our left foot. We send our right leg up gently, noticing our pelvis, noticing our hips grounding down through the four edges of the foot. You can grab onto a wall for a minute, or to the back of your leg or your leggings. You can grab the inside corners of the foot. You can grab the inside corner of the foot. It really depends on how you feel, what feels good in your body. You can reach your arm up and lift up. Maybe you want to grab onto the wall in front of you. Keep reaching through that back leg, taking your own expression of dancer's pose. Whatever feels good to you today. As long as you come back up with control, maybe using a wall, and gently release and shake out those legs. As I mentioned before, it's important to take a counter pose after taking a deep back bend, like we just did. So if you want to take a gentle twist with me, or if you want to take a forward fold, whichever feels best to you. If you're taking a twist, lengthen through the spine and gently twist to one side without straining, and breathe in and out for a few breaths. And rinsing our experience, appreciating our strength, and letting go of what just happened in our class, and coming to this present moment as we flow to the other side and rinse the body. A few more deep breaths in and out. Tapping into the stillness and silence that rests within. When you're ready, you can come to center, lengthen the spine, breathe in if that feels good, reach the arms up, and then exhale, send your forearms to your thighs, taking a half bend or a full bend, whichever feels good to you today. Allow your body to be fully relaxed in your forward fold. Send your breath to any areas of tension that you wish to release in this practice. When you're ready, you can send your hands to your thighs, lift the heart, breathe in, and come back to center. I'm going to use a prop here. I'm going to have you use your blocks. You can stack your blocks one on top of the other in front of you. Send both of your feet to the block. Allow the feet to touch. And allow the legs to open up. Maybe send your hands to either side. Make sure it's available to you today. And then relax your palms in your lap. Relax your palms on your heart and your belly, whichever feels best for you. And you can allow your head to drop behind you on the wall if you have a wall. I would recommend it just because it feels really nice on the body. And close your eyes, taking a reclined butterfly in your seat. This is a nice release. The hips, any residual tension. Allow yourself to drop down into this pose, to relish in it. This is a great moment to send yourself gratitude for being here today in this practice, for taking the time to explore dancer's pose with me, to explore your body and what feels good and what doesn't, to honor your bodies. So take another 3 full breaths here in reclined butterfly with me. Big inhale. have somewhere to go, if you're on schedule, and thank you for joining. I hope that you enjoyed this practice and this chair sequence for dancer's pose. And if you have a few more minutes to offer to yourself, then I recommend taking Shavasana for at least 2 to 5 minutes. You can sit in your chair with your palms facing up. You have the option to extend your legs and release them, or keep the knees bent with your feet flat on the floor. Whatever feels right to you today. Maybe you want to lie down on your backs with some props underneath your head, your knees for support. Maybe use a blanket, and I'll send you off and you can stay here with Shavasana, or you can mindfully make your way off of your mat today and into the world with more grace and ease, knowing your inner strength and knowing that at any moment you are being supported to release and destroy the impurities of the mind, any toxic thoughts, any harmful self-talk, just to release and let go. Thank you very much for joining me. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. It makes such a difference for me, and I greatly appreciate your energy and your time. Namaste.